Welcome everyone. Today we are starting the single most scoring section of the SSC CGL and CHSL Tier 2 examination, Computer Knowledge. Now, I know many of you sitting here come from arts, commerce, or biology backgrounds, and you are probably thinking computer science. This is not my subject. Wrong. This subject is your easiest source of marks. If you watch this one module carefully, 8 to 10 marks are practically guaranteed. Today's module has 6 topics, and at the end, there are 23 solved questions in the SSC examination pattern. So stay until the very last slide. Do not leave halfway. One more thing, I will explain every topic using a real life example. No jargon, no engineering language, simple English. Are you ready? Then let us begin. These are our 6 topics for today. Take a quick look at the screen. Let me tell you something important in the SSC CGL Tier 2 examination. The computer section carries roughly 20 to 25 questions, and from these 6 topics alone, 8 to 10 questions are repeated every single year. So, this module is your guaranteed 8 to 10 marks if you pay attention. Now, let me ask you a quick question. How many of you ever how many of you have ever opened a CPU and looked inside it, which is actually inside that box? Perfectly fine. Today I will explain everything that's inside your computer without opening a single screw. Let us start with topic number 1. Topic number 1, Organization of the computer. This means what is inside the computer and who does what job. Now, listen carefully. I'm going to give you an analogy that you will remember for the rest of your life. Imagine a restaurant kitchen. Inside the kitchen, 3 people are working. The first person is the manager. The manager tells everyone what to do and when to do it. The manager does not cook anything. The manager only coordinates. This is the control unit. The second person is the chef. The chef does the actual cooking, chopping, mixing, measuring ingredients. This is the ALU, the arithmetic logic unit. The third thing is a small spice rack right next to the stove. It holds the spices the chef needs immediately, so the chef does not have to walk to the storeroom every time. These are the registers. Now tell me, when you put these 3 together, the manager, the chef, and the spice rack, what is the name of the whole kitchen team? Answer, CPU. CPU equals central processing unit equals the entire kitchen team. Manager plus chef plus spice rack equals control unit plus ALU plus registers equal CPU. Is it simple enough? CPU is equal to central processing unit equal to brain of the computer. 3 parts: control unit, ALU, registers. Restaurant analogy recap, SSC fact. CPU is also called processor or microprocessor. Look at the screen. CPU has 3 parts. Let us go through them one more time. Number 1, control unit. Its job is to coordinate. It does not perform any calculations itself. It simply says, first take these instructions, then do this, then do that. It is the manager, pure and simple. Number 2, ALU, which stands for Arithmetic Logic Unit. This unit does the actual work. It handles 2 types of operation. First, arithmetic operations addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Second, logical operations comparison. Is A greater than B? Are they equal? Yes or no? Number 3, registers. These are super fast, tiny storage space inside the CPU. They hold only one or two numbers temporarily, but they are extremely fast because they sit right next to the ALU. What is the another name for the CPU? It is called the brain of the computer. Have you written it? Good. Now here comes an SSC trap. SSC asks CPU is also known as the options include a heart of the computer, B brain of the computer. A large number of students select heart. That is wrong. CPU equals brain, not heart. No standard textbook calls the CPU the heart. Remember B for brain, B for be careful with this trap. Left column control unit does not calculate, fetches, decodes, and directs instructions. Keywords coordinate, direct, fetch, decode. Right column ALU performs all arithmetic and logical operations, does actual data processing. Accumulator stores results temporarily. Now look at the slide very carefully. This is SSC's favorite comparison. Control unit versus ALU. Let's me play a game with you. I will say a keyword and you tell me does it belongs to the control unit or the ALU. Ready? Keyword coordinate. Answer control unit. Calculate ALU. Fetch instructions control unit. Compare two numbers ALU. Decode instructions control unit. Addition and subtraction ALU. You see how simple this is if you spot these keywords in the SSC questions. Coordinate, direct, fetch, decode. The answer is always control unit. Calculate, compare, arithmetic, logical. The answer is always ALU. Memorize these keywords. The answer practically write itself. One more important fact, the accumulator. This is the name of the specific register. It is temporarily stores the result of ALU operations. Think of it this way. The chef has finished cooking a dish and place it on a plate. That plate is the accumulator. Tap alerts. SSC directly asks which register stores ALU results temporarily. The answer is accumulator. Remember A for ALU result holder, A for accumulator. This is a trap alert slide. Take a screenshot of the slide or write these points down. Read them the night before your examination. Trap 1 CPU equals brain, not heart. Trap 2 Who coordinates? The control unit, not the ALU. Trap 3 Who calculates? The ALU, not the control unit. Trap 4 What is the accumulator? A register that temporarily stores ALU results. Trap 5 What is a bus in a computer? It is a pathway or wire for data transfer between units. It is not a vehicle. And here is a memory trick. This is unofficial. So never write it in the exam, but it helps you remember. CU equals coordinator unit. ALU equals actual labor unit. Simple. Topic 1 is done. How easy was that? You just had to remember a restaurant kitchen. Now let us move forward. Topic 2 Input and Output Devices. This topic looks like the easiest one, but SSC set the most traps here. Before we look at any device, let me give you a golden rule that you must never forget. Any device that sends data into the computer is an input device. Any device that takes data out of the computer and shows it to you is an output device. Think about your own body. Your eyes and ears are input devices. Data is coming in to you. Your mouth and hands are output devices. You are sending data out by speaking and writing. Eyes and ears equal input, mouth and hands equal output. Will you remember that? Two column comparison. Input devices: keyboard, mouse, scanner, microphone, joystick, webcam, barcode reader, OCR, biometric sensor versus output devices: monitor, printer, speaker, projector, plotter, headphones. Look at the screen. Input devices are on the left, output devices are on the right. Let us do a quick fire round. I will name a device, you tell me input or output. Keyboard, it is a input device. Monitor, output. Scanner, input. Printer, output. Microphone, input. Speaker, output. Now, let us talk about the tricky ones. This is an important concept connected with the scanner. It is called OCR, which stands for Optical Character Recognition. Here is what OCR does. The scanner first scans a printed document and creates an image of it. Then the OCR software extracts the text from that image and makes it editable, meaning you can copy, paste and edit the text in a Word document. Scanner plus OCR equals converting printed or typed text into editable digital text. SSC asks this fact repeatedly. Remember, O for optical, C for character, R for recognition. Plotter equal to output for large technical drawings. Biometric sensor equal input. Touchscreen equal both input and output. Modem equal both. Headset with microphone equal both. Now we come to SSC's favorite tricky devices. Pay very close attention. First, the plotter. This is a special output device. It is not a regular printer. A plotter prints very large drawings, engineering blueprints, building maps, architectural diagrams, and CAD drawings. Which output device is used for printing large scale engineering drawings and blueprints? The options are laser printer, plotter, scanner, projector. What is the answer? Answer is plotter. Whenever you see the words large drawings, blueprints, maps, or CAD in a question, the answer is always plotter. Next, the biometric sensor. This includes fingerprint scanners, iris scanners, and face scanners. Is this an input device or an output device? It is an input device. Why? Because it reads your fingerprint or iris data and sends that data to the computer. It does not display any result on its own. Data is only going in, so it is input. Now, the biggest trap of all, the touch screen. Is it input or output? It is both. Your touch on the screen is the input. You are giving commands. What appears the screen is the output. The computer is showing result. Both functions happen in the same device. SSC's classic question: which device function as both input and output? The standard answer is touch screen. Whenever you see the words both or dual function, write touch screen. This is the single topic. Now we come to the boss topic of Module 1, RAM versus ROM. This is the single topic from which SSC asks the most questions. Now we come to the boss topic of Module 1, RAM versus ROM. This is the single topic from which SSC asks the most questions, at least 2 to 3 every year. And students make the most mistakes here, especially when it comes to SRAM versus DRAM and EPROM versus EEPROM. But I'm going to give you an analogy, and after this, you will never forget the difference. Imagine you have a whiteboard in your room. Imagine you have a whiteboard in your room. You write something on it with a marker. As long as the board is there, the data is there. But the moment you wipe the board or the power goes out, the data disappears. This is RAM, temporary, volatile. Now, imagine a printed book. Whatever is printed on those pages is permanent. Even if the power goes out, even if you drop the book, the text does not change. This is ROM, permanent, non volatile. Whiteboard equals RAM equals volatile. Data disappears when power is off. Printed book equals ROM equals non-volatile. Data remains even when power is off. Remember these two lines and of the topic is already solved. Two column table. RAM, volatile, read and write, temporary, working memory, whiteboard analogy. SRAM, DRAM type. Look at the comparison on the screen. I will read each key point and I want you re- I want you to repeat after me. ROM is volatile, Ra- RAM is volatile, ROM is non-volatile. RAM data disappears when power goes up. ROM data stays even when the power goes off. Now, an important fact, ROM stores something called BIOS. BIOS stands for Basic Input Output System. These are the instructions that tell the computer how to start up. When you press the power button, the very first thing that runs is BIOS, and BIOS is stored in ROM because if it is were stored in RAM, it would disappear every time you turn off the computer. And then how would the computer even start again? Exam tip. BIOS equals basic input output system stored in RAM. SSC directly asks BIOS is stored in which memory? Answer ROM. The logic is simple. BIOS must be permanent and only ROM is permanent. Now here is the SSC's most repeated question from the entire module. Which type of memory is volatile? What is the answer? Answer RAM. Always RAM, never forget. R for RAM. R for removed when off. Volatile equals RAM equals data disappears when power goes off. Now RAM itself has two types, SRAM and DRAM. This is another SSC's favorite. SRAM stands for static RAM. Once data is set, it stays stable as long as the power is on. It does not need to be refreshed. Think of light switch. Once you flip it on, it stays on until you flip it off. That is SRAM, stable, fast but expensive. DRAM stands for dynamic RAM. This type needs to be refreshed constantly. thousands of times per second. Why? Because inside DRAM there are tiny capacitors that leak their electrical charge. Thinking of a leaking bucket, you have to keep pouring water in, otherwise, it empties out. That is DRAM. It works, but it needs constant attention. Now, the critical question, where is SRAM used? Because cache memory sits right to the. Now, the critical question, where is SRAM used? In cache memory, because cache memory right next to the CPU and needs to be extremely fast, and SRAM is the fastest type of RAM, but it is expensive, so it is only used in small quantities. The RAM sticks you buy in the market, the 4 GB or 8 GB modules, those are all DRAM. It is slower than SRAM but much cheaper, so it comes in larger quantities. Now, ROM has three versions. Think of them as an evolution from the oldest to the newest. Step 1, PROM, Programmable ROM. You can write data once You can write data onto it once, and after that, it is permanent. You cannot erase it. Think of it as carving your name into stone. Once it is carved, it is there forever. Step 2, EPROM, erasable PROM. Now we can erase the data, but how? You need a special ultraviolet light lamp. You place the chip under the UV light, the data get erased, and then you can reprogram it. Step 3, EEPROM, electrically erasable PROM. No more UV light. You can erase the data using just an electrical signal. This is modern, convenient method, and here is the important connection. Today's flash memory, which is used in pen drives, memory cards, and SSDs, is based on EEPROM technology. Now comes the most important trap. Listen very carefully. SSC will ask which type of RAM is erased using UV light. Both EPROM and EEPROM will be in the options. Students get confused. Here is a trick to remember it forever. EPROM has one letter E. That E stands for erasable. It is used the older method, ultraviolet light. EEPROM has two letters E. The first E stands for electrically. It uses the newer method, electrical signals. More E's means a more modern method. 1 E equals UV light, 2 E's equals electrical. Erased by UV light or ultraviolet light always equals EPROM. Erased electrically always equals EEPROM. Flash memory equals EEPROM based technology. These three facts together are worth 3 marks in the examination. Topic 4, Memory Organization. This explains how memory is arranged in layers inside a computer. Imagine a kitchen. Right next to the stove, there is a tiny spice rack. The chef can grab spices instantly. This is cache memory, the fastest, smallest, and most expensive memory. A few steps away, there is a kitchen cabinet. It holds more items, but it takes a moment to walk over. This is RAM, your primary memory. And outside the kitchen, there is a large storeroom. It holds everything, but you need to walk quite a distance to get there. This is your hard disk, the secondary memory. Now, write down this golden rule. The faster the memory, the smaller and more expensive it is. The slower the memory, the larger and cheaper it is. speed and size have an inverse relationship. This is a guaranteed exam question. Now, one critical fact that SSC loves to test. The CPU can only directly access primary memory, which is RAM. The CPU never directly accesses the hard disk. When you open a program, the data is first loaded from the hard disk into RAM and then the CPU processes it from RAM. SSC question. CPU directly process data from which memory? Answer primary memory or RAM. Hard disk is the wrong answer. Whenever you see the word directly and hard disk is an option, eliminate hard disk immediately. Quick revision. I say the description, you name the memory. First steps to memory is cache memory. Medium speed, directly accessed by the CPU. RAM. Slowest but largest and permanent hard disk. Perfect. Cache is the greater than RAM is greater than or disk. Size order, the exact opposite. Topic 5 Backup devices. We will cover four devices HDD, SSD, optical disk, and magnetic tape. Let us start with SSC most asked comparison HDD versus SSD. HDD stands for hard disk drive. Inside an hard disk drive, there is a spinning disk, a circular magnetic platter that rotates, and a needle like read write head that moves across it. Think of an old record player because it has moving parts. The HDD is slower, it makes noise, and it can be damaged if you drop it, but it is cheaper. SSD stands for solid state drive. Inside an SSD, there are no moving parts at all. It is made entirely of electronic chips, flash memory chips. Think of it as a larger version of your pen drive because nothing moves. The SSD is much faster, completely silent, and resistant to physical shocks, but it is more expensive. Now, SSC is all-time favorite question from this topic. Which storage device has no moving parts? Answer SSD. But there is a trap here. Students sometimes select optical disc or CD or DVD because a CD looks like flat and solid, but when a CD goes into the drive spins it. So the CD-ROM drive does have a moving part. SSD is the only storage device with absolutely zero moving parts. Now quickly optical disc, CDs, DVDs and Blu-ray disc. These read and write data using laser light. That is why they are called optical. Optical means light based. Do not confuse with this the hard disk which uses the magnetic technology. CD and DVD equals laser. HDD equals magnetic. This is the oldest and cheapest backup device still used by banks and government archives for storing massive amount of data. Its biggest limitation is that it uses sequential access, meaning if you want to the last file on the tape, you have to go through the entire tape from the beginning. You cannot jump directly to it. Every other storage device, HDD, SSD, CD, uses random access where you can jump to any file directly. Which storage uses sequential access only? The answer is always magnetic tape. This is a fixed, repeatedly asked SSC question. The word sequential in the question equals magnetic tape, no other device. Our final topic ports and connectivity. If you have ever looked at the back of the desktop computer, you have seen many different sockets of different shapes. Each socket is a port and each port carries a different type of data. Number 1, USB, Universal Series Bus. This is the most common port. Pen drive, mice, keyboards and printers all connect through USB. USB has three types. USB-A is a rectangular one you are most familiar with. USB-B is a square-shaped connector used in printers, and USB-C is the newest. It is oval-shaped and reversible, meaning you can plug it in either way. SSC asks which USB connector is reversible. The answer is USB-C. This is a trendy question in recent papers. Number 2 and 3, HDMI versus VGA. Both connect to monitors and projectors, but here is the key difference. HDMI carries both audio and video through a single cable. VGA carries only video, no audio. SS's most asked report questions. Which port transmits both audio and video? The answer is HDMI, not VGA. Number 4. The Ethernet port, also known as the RJ45 connector. This is for wired internet and LAN connections. Remember, RJ45 equals network cable and it has a larger connector. RJ11 equals telephone cable and it has a smaller connector. The bigger number equals the bigger connector equals the network connection. Number 5 and 6, serial versus parallel ports. These are all these are older ports, but SSC still tests them. Serial ports sends data one bit at a time, like a single LAN road. The name itself tells you serial means in a series, one after another. Parallel ports send multiple bits at once, like a multi-lane highway. Multiple data bits travel side by side simultaneously. Trap alert, which port sends data one bit at a time, equals serial port. HDMI versus VGA equals HDMI. Carries audio plus video. VGA carries video only. RJ45 versus RJ11 equals RJ45 for Ethernet or network, RJ11 for telephone. Now we come to the most important section, solved questions. There are 23 questions here. I will show each questions on the screen. Your job is to think of the answer first, then I will reveal the correct answer with an explanation. This method double your retention. Ready? Let us go. Question 1. The CPU is also known as the heart of the computer, brain of the computer, backbone of the computer, soul of the computer. Answer B. CPU is universally called the brain of the computer. Heart is the classic trap option. No standard textbook uses the word heart for CPU. Question 2. Which unit performs all arithmetic and logical operations? A. Control unit, B. ALU, C. Memory unit, D. Register. Answer B. ALU. ALU handles all calculations and comparisons. Control unit only coordinates. It never calculates. Question 3. Which unit fetches instructions and directs other units? A. ALU, B. Control unit, C. Cache memory, D. Accumulator. Answer B. Fetch, decode, direct and coordinate are all fetch, decode, direct and coordinate are all control unit keywords. Question 4. Which register temporarily stores ALU results? A. Program counter, B. Instruction register, C. Accumulator, D. Stack pointer. Answer C. The accumulator is the specific register that holds ALU output temporarily. Question 5. Which output device prints large scale blueprints? Laser printer, plotter, scanner, projector. Answer B. Plotter is designed for large technical drawings. A regular printer cannot handle this. Question 6. A fingerprint scanner is classified as A. Output, B. Input, C. Storage, D. Processing device. What is the answer? Answer B. It reads human data and sends it to the computer. Data goes in, so it is input. Question 7. Which device is both input and output? A. Keyboard, B. Touch screen, C. Speaker, D. Scanner. What is the answer? Answer B. Touch equals input, display equals output. Both happen in one device. Question 8. Which memory is volatile? A. ROM, B. RAM, C. PROM, D. EEPROM. What is the answer? Answer B. Volatile means data disappears when power goes off. Only RAM is volatile. Question 9. Which RAM type is used in cache memory? A. DRAM, B. SRAM, C. PROM, D. EEPROM. Answer B. SRAM is fast and used in cache. DRAM is the main RAM, S for speed, S for cache. Question number 10. DRAM needs constant refreshing because A. Magnetic storage, B. Capacitors leak charge, C. Moving parts, D. Permanent storage. Answer B. DRAM capacitors leak charge, so data must be refreshed thousands of times per second. Question number 11. Which ROM is erased by ultraviolet light? A. PROM, B. EPROM, C. EEPROM, D. Flash memory. Answer EPROM. EPROM uses UV light, EEPROM uses electrical signals. 1E equals UV, 2 is equals electrical. Question number 12. Flash memory is based on SRAM, B. DRAM, C. EEPROM, D. EEPROM. Answer D. Flash memory is EEPROM based. Electrically erasable pen drive, SSDs and memory cards all use this. Question number 13. Arrange by increasing capacity. Cache, RAM, hard disk. A. HD, RAM, cache. B. Cache, RAM, HD. C. RAM, cache, HD. D. Cache, HD, RAM. Answer B. Cache is the smallest, RAM is medium, hard disk is largest. Speed order is the exact inverse. Question number 14. CPU directly access data from A. Hard disk, B. Primary memory or RAM, C. Optical disk, D. Magnetic tape. Answer B. CPU works directly with the RAM only. Hard disk data must be loaded into RAM first. Question number 15. Which storage has no moving parts? A. HDD, B. SSD, C. CD-ROM drive, D. Magnetic tape. Answer SSD. Answer B. SSD is entirely electronic chips. All others have spinning or moving components. Question number 16. CDs and DVDs use which technology? A. Magnetic, B. Laser light, C. Radio waves, D. Infrared. Answer B. Optical disc uses laser, HDD uses magnetical. Optical disc use laser, HDD uses magnetic. Two different technologies. Question number 17. Which storage uses sequential access only? A. HDD, B. SSD, C. Magnetic tape, D. DVD. Answer C. Magnetic tape is the only device limited to sequential access. All other support random access. Question number 18. Which USB connector is reversible? A. USB A, B. USB B, C. USB C, D. Mini USB. Answer C. USB C is oval and symmetrical. It can be plugged in either way. Question number 19. Which port carries both audio and video? A. VGA, B. HDMI, C. Serial, D. Ethernet. Answer B. HDMI. HDMI carries audio plus video. VGA carries videos only. Question number 20. RJ45 connector is used for A. Telephone, B. Ethernet or LAN, C. Printer, D. Audio. Answer B. RJ45 equals Ethernet or LAN. RJ11 equals telephone. Bigger number equals network. Question number 21. Which port sends data 1 bit at a time? A. Parallel, B. Serial, C. USB, D. HDMI. Answer B. Serial means in a series, 1 bit at a time. Parallel means multiple bits simultaneously. Question number 22. BIOS is stored in A. RAM, B. ROM, C. Cache, D. Hard disk. Answer B. BIOS must survive power off. Only RAM. Answer B. BIOS must survive power off. Only ROM is non-volatile. If BIOS were in RAM, the computer could never start. Question number 23. OCR stands for and is used for A. Optical character reader barcodes, B. Optical character recognition printed text to digital, C. Online character recognition, B. Optical code reader. Answer B. OCR converts printed or typed text into editable digital text used with scanners. Congratulations! Module 1 is complete. We have covered 6 topics from CPU organization all the way to ports and connectivity, and we have practiced 23 solved questions in the SSC pattern. Now I have one last request for you. Tonight before you go to sleep, take 2 minutes and read the final revision checklist. It is the last slide of the presentation. Just 2 minutes. That one revision will lock this entire module into memory. In the next video, we will cover Module 2 Software and Microsoft Office. That includes the Windows operating system, keyboard shortcuts, MS Word, MS Excel and MS PowerPoint, all in the same style. If this video was helpful, please like it, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon and share it with your friends who are preparing for the SSC examination. We will meet in the next class. All the best to each and every one of you.